Frustrating to get your plants all the way through winter to find that in April they suddenly die. Well, maybe this is the reason why. Here's the three main things that might be going wrong. Number one, not opening your greenhouse door. Right at the end of the winter, plants are at the weakest and they're kind of vulnerable to things like Botrytis cinerea or grey mould and mildew and other fungal diseases. And what funguses really like is still, warm air that's humid, and they can settle on the leaves and they can do their damage. Now, during the very coldest winter days, if it's very cold and you have to have the heaters on, then you're not going to want to open the door. You're going to want to keep this as warm as possible in here, as economically as possible. But at the end of the winter, March and April, you start to get those days which are, you get a bit of sun during the day, but it's cold at night. So it might be like 2 or 3 at night, 2 or 3 degrees, maybe 0 at night. And then during the day, it might go up to like 7 degrees, 8 degrees, something like that. But in the greenhouse, these little babies could get anything up to like 15, 20 degrees, even if you switch off the heaters, because it's a greenhouse. If it's sunny, it will get really hot in here. It's the greenhouse effect. That's what greenhouses are for. What you're really after is keeping that door open on the reasonable days to get the airflow in here so that the plants can transpire and do their plant stuff. Obviously, if it's going to be windy or if it's going to be heavy rain, you don't want that blowing into the greenhouse. But wind is particularly dangerous to a greenhouse with an open door, because you sort of get this vacuum effect where it comes in and blasts the panels out. So not on a windy day, but if it's a sort of sunny day and you get up and you've had, say, maybe a 2 degrees outside, or maybe even a 0, and you've had your heaters on, you switch your heaters off during the day, or if they're on a thermostat, and you think it will stay at that temperature with the door closed. It won't. The temperature will rocket in here and it could easily get 15, 20 degrees, and it really isn't very good for the plants, and they start to grow and they're not ready for it. Number 2, not enough light. Now this year, we've had quite a few months just after Christmas when it just rained and rained and rained, and it was totally miserable and dark and horrible. And I felt like I hadn't seen the sun for months, and I don't think I actually had. And can you imagine, though, what it's like for the plants? Because they really do need sun in order to keep going, especially your indoor plants. Light levels in your house will be very low in the winter. And this is the reason why you really do need, if you're keeping house plants, to have some sort of grow lights like this going on those, at least on those darker days, to keep your plants moving along. Or else they'll start to wither through lack of light. And you can have them right by the window, but if it's a very dull grey period for months and months, like we did have, they're really going to struggle. We do have a problem in the greenhouse with low light in there because we have bubble wrap in there, and I can't afford to run grow lights in the greenhouse, so I run them indoors, but even that is quite expensive. So the greenhouse, we tend to put the plants in there which are not quite so light sensitive. But with low light, it's very difficult because you get used to it, and you really need a light meter to sort of tell you just how much light the plants are getting. Oh, not for me, thank you. Number 3, overwatering. Watering's the biggest bugbear for me, because what happens is right at the end of the winter, sort of March, April time, the plants start to put a little bit of growth on, start to prick their ears up a little bit, and you've got those warmer days outside, very slightly warmer, and I start thinking they need a little drop of water. The leaves start to look a little bit crinkly and a little bit yellow, and I think, oh, I'll give them a little drop of water, see how they go. I water them on the first week, and on the second week I look at them and I think, oh, the bottom leaves are still looking yellow and the top leaves are still looking a bit crinkly. It must still be dry. I give them some more water. But what's happening is that the plants are getting waterlogged and they cannot do the functions they want to do. Because the thing is with plants, they're not the complete reverse of animals. We breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. Now plants are not the complete reverse. They do take in carbon dioxide and photosynthesize and make it into sugars and oxygen and release oxygen. But they also respire and they need oxygen to do that. And they don't use their own oxygen because the oxygen they make in the leaves, that is sort of lost to the atmosphere. So they need to take in oxygen to respire through the leaves, but also quite a big percentage through the roots. They take the oxygen from little air pockets in the soil. And when that soil gets waterlogged, they can't take the oxygen in from water. They will simply drown in there, in that water if they're too waterlogged. Because the roots, they have their functions. They have to respire like any cell has to respire. It's very surprising how dry you have to keep them because they're almost bone dry. There's just a little tiny little bit of moisture there, and that's just enough to keep the plants going. But once you fill the pots and they're feeling a bit heavy and wet, especially if they're not fully growing and they're not really gunning away in March and April, they're just waking up. That will be curtains for a lot of plants. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. It always cheers me up when I get another one. It won't be long now until we're out there.